speaking of treating employees terribly, Kanye West has been in the news. Have you been following Adolf Ye on X, formerly known as Twitter?
Been seeing the highlights.
I have been locked in to Mr. Ye's Twitter feed for the last week. I think that Kanye gets very jealous when attention is directed away from him. I think the Super Bowl coming up had everybody talking about Drake and Kendrick. And he was like, well, the only way I can make people talk about me is by being even more of a Nazi. And he started tweeting out, like, even for Kanye, some real anti-Semitic stuff. Full on just saying, I am a Nazi, just throwing out the double H, talking about how he loves Hitler, like just like the worst of the worst anti-Semitic stuff, to the point where it's like it's not even shocking or like surprising or anything. You know what it reminded me of? Like just me when I was 14 on the internet, just trying to say and write the most heinous shit possible in comment sections from anonymous accounts for attention, right? I feel like every 14 to 16-year-old goes through this phase, like on like Call of Duty voice chat back in the day on Xbox Live. Like that's what Kanye's doing, except he's like 50-something. He's doing it on Twitter with his name. It's like for attention. And I was watching him write shit, and he kind of talked about why he was doing this. And like, this was his explanation, or at least what I gathered from the incoherent ramblings of a nitrous oxide poisoned brain. He was kind of saying that, like, I'm saying all of the horrible things that I can think of to rid myself of anyone in my circle who would try to limit or censor me or who would not show supreme loyalty to me, right? So almost like I've got a few Jews working for me still. I'm going to say all this anti-Semitic shit, and that will get rid of the non-believers and the people who wouldn't support me 100%, and I'll only have people that I can trust around me. And then also kind of testing every single person, brand, business that is still working with him to make sure that they won't drop him. Which I think is like, I think he definitely is actually anti-Semitic, but I think like almost most of it is about not wanting to be controlled by anyone. And I think that's what a lot of the Adidas thing was about, where he wasn't happy with what they were doing with Yeezy and with his shoes and being controlled and being told, hey man, you can't watch porn in the office. So he just started tweeting all that anti-Semitic stuff to get control of his brand back by making it so nuclear or so Zyklon B that no one would touch it unless their only motivation was to make money, and they just knew that they couldn't control him. Is kind of what he seemed to be saying in between tweets, like I hate Jews and shit like that. So anyway, he goes on this huge, massive rant. And then the Super Bowl happens. Everyone's talking about Kanye. And then the Super Bowl happens, and then no one gives a fuck about Kanye. Everyone's talking about Kendrick and Drake, right? And then he has an ad in the Super Bowl, which is like him at the dentist. It's filmed on his smartphone vertically, and it just links to Yeezy.com. And then the only product available on Yeezy.com is a t-shirt with a Swazi on it. Like white t-shirt, massive black Swazi. Like the type of t-shirt where like, you know, like someone would buy thinking like, yeah, Kanye merch. And they wouldn't come home that night if they wore it out, you know? Like, if you see someone wearing a swastika, you have to punch them. No, sorry. You have to check if it's Halloween. If it's Halloween, you have to give them a stern talking to. And say, I understand how you think that maybe would be funny, but for your safety, you probably shouldn't wear this because I'm not going to do it, but somebody else may punch you. If it's not Halloween, you just got to go for the big wind up. Yeah, you got to do one of these ones. You got to crank it up before I spill coffee all over myself. But insane, right? And here's how fucking dumb Kanye is, right? Because everyone talks about how he's like some visionary and some genius, and undeniably he's a fucking creative genius. Sorry, that's not true. He was a creative genius. The music he's releasing now sucks. And it hasn't been good. Life of Pablo was a great album. That was the last good one. His music sucks now. His music is as bad as the person he's become, right? You know, he tweeted for days talking about like fat women shouldn't be allowed to wear lingerie, and lingerie should not be made in sizes for fat women. Yeah, so even a broken clock is right twice a day. I thought, oh, you're kind of winning me back here, Kanye. No! You can wear lingerie if you want. What's lingerie for an obese girl? A t-shirt? A size small t-shirt? Instead of those sexy garter belts, she just has to wear like those straps that you attach loads to cars with. Anyway, ratchet straps, you know. You stick a sign on the back, wide load. Anyway, that's fatphobic and disgusting. And if you laughed, you're a bad person. He was tweeting all of this stuff. And I only said that stuff to show you how bad that is and how unfunny it is. So you should feel ashamed for laughing, Keelan. That's at least an $100 docking of the pay for next month. Anyway, he tweets all this stuff about fat people wanting to wear lingerie. And then I see one person just retweet and go, dude, wasn't your mum fat? Oh. Like people are like sitting on his dead mum now. And he's done all this stuff. And like, I think if you're on the side of like, nah, Kanye's doing it for a reason. It's not just because he's anti-Semitic. Like he's trying to like make sure that no one's controlling him. He's like stress testing the new system that he's built and the people that are helping him, because apparently he's a billionaire again, even after the Adidas thing, and he lost all his money and he came back. Now he's a billionaire again, and he's stress testing the thing that he's built to make sure that no one can take it from him. And the reason he's and the way that he's stress testing it is by posting super anti-Semitic stuff and selling Swazi t-shirts, right? How's this? This is how fucking dumb this guy is. His website was on Shopify. So Shopify just were like, yeah, we're not letting you sell swastika t-shirts on the biggest e-commerce platform in the world. And they took his website down, of course. Like, dude, even Daily Stormer know that they have to run their own servers to keep their website up, dude. Not to give props to the Daily Stormer, but it's wild that you can just type that in and hit and load up their articles. This fucking idiot is like, oh, I got to make sure that I don't have any mean Jewish employees that might not like being called evil for being Jewish. But I'm gonna leave my fucking website on Shopify and sell swastika t-shirts. What a dumb idiot. And I bet, I'm assuming, but I bet payment processors have dropped him. I bet no, like, now this time when you start selling like objectively racist shit, like swastika merch, you're not going to get any Cloudflare protection, which protects you from like DDoS attacks and hacks and shit like that. You're not going to get any support from any e-commerce website in the world ever, right? So you can't come back from this type of shit, especially not now that he's done it like for the 5th fucking time. Your payment processes are fucked. It means that like kind of the only thing that's left to you is spending millions of dollars to build your own physical server infrastructure, which is possible, but it takes a really long time, and it's crazy that he didn't do this before, you know, burning bridges like this. It means that no payment processor is going to help you send and receive money. Likely no factories are going to work with you, except for heaps of them in China. So that's maybe not an issue. But like, yeah, he's just kind of tanked his ability to make any sort of money at all for a really long time. And like building all of these things, it's like if you're building your own server room and you're building your own infrastructure, you got to find an IT guy who is okay working for the self-described Nazi. You got to find a contractor that's okay building, you know, the room that you hold your cooled servers in for the nut. You know, it's like, it's really inconvenient to say that you love Hitler. There's not a lot of people that want to help you out. Apparently his wife's leaving him.
I did see that.
Come home, Bianca. Come home back to Australia. You've made your money. All right? In the divorce. She waited until he was a billionaire again. And then she was like, and now I'm out.
Do you think he pays child support to Kim Kardashian?
No, if he were looking after his children, which he's not, he would be owed child support. She's got way more money than he does. Okay. But yeah, I bet like them getting married would have been like, from a legal perspective, like the fucking Cold War. Like the prenup between those two would have just been like, look, you're not entitled to any of my shit. I'm not entitled to any of your shit. That's the only way you could do it. Yeah. There's no fucking way 2 billionaires can get married without just like the most ironclad prenup of all time. Like, like what's yours is not mine, and what's mine is not yours. That's the only way to do it.
Yeah, symbolic marriage instead of a real marriage.
Yeah, true. Who knows if they were even legally married? Yeah, man. That'd be the most terrifying. Getting divorced from a billionaire when you're a billionaire from 2 separate businesses would be the most terrifying shit ever. Every lawyer in the world will be like, fuck, I want that job. I want to represent. You would need 100 lawyers each at least to separate if you didn't have just like, all right, let's just walk away from this amicably. So yeah, I don't know what happens with Kanye. I think like, I mean, I'm completely fucking off him. I almost feel like it's getting to the point where like I wouldn't be surprised if they took him off streaming services.
Off Spotify?
Yeah. Because how much money does Kanye West make Spotify really? Like in the scheme of the whole website, I don't think the record labels would ever take it down. But I think that the streaming services could, or at least they'll never put him in trending. Not that it matters because his old stuff is incredible.
He's earned from Spotify approximately, this could be false, 176 million on Spotify.
Like this year?
All time?
All time.
44 billion streams.
Yeah, so like $100 million for Spotify is not that much money at all. Like really. But
I don't know if that's true actually.
I feel like it would be more. Someone in the comments will tell us that approximately how much he's made. But here's the thing. With say Spotify takes Kanye West off. Now the record label is going to be like, oh, you're getting rid of Kanye. Well, I guess we're going to take Drake off as well. And we're going to take Kendrick off. And we're going to take Taylor Swift off. And we'll put them all on Apple Music. If you want to play that game, we'll take all of our artists off and put them on, the record label would be like, you don't get to make decisions like that. Although I swear there was an artist that got taken down off, I'm thinking of someone, an artist that got taken down off Spotify for saying something. This was many years ago. I remember it because an artist was taken down off Spotify and then a bunch of people were like, well, what about these rappers who have literally killed people? Because that's the other thing. It's like if you take Kanye West off for mean tweets, right? There are rappers that have whole songs about how they killed someone and they're currently sitting in prison for that murder. And you can just listen to it and be like, cool beat. Which is absolutely worse than killing a person is worse than anti-Semitic tweets. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not advocating for censorship of the guy, but I think that he's just very, very mentally unwell. I love that he's a gooner, though. I love that he's like such a porno addict. Because you're off Twitter, so you wouldn't have seen this. So he does all these anti-Semitic rants. And then I think it was during the Super Bowl, he just starts tweeting out clips from his favorite pornos. Just like full on, like 2-minute chunks from screen recorded from Pornhub and going, I like this one because of the, and it wasn't just one, it was like 50 of his, and he goes, this one's my favorite clip from this girl. This one's my favorite one for this reason. I love this one because that, like, it seems like this man is much better at watching porn than he used to be at making music, and he used to be great at making music.
Imagine him being your dad.
Yeah.
And seeing this shit.
Yeah. Like you would just say, like, if Kanye's your dad, like if I'm Kim, I would hire security to make sure that my kids never see a phone. Like you don't have to protect him. This guy is protecting him and you. Your job is to make sure they never see a screen. Ever. So that they never read a bad word about their dad or see a tweet. That's so funny. But what was the most damning about Kanye West out of all of the stuff that he said, all the anti-Semitic stuff, he even advocated for like hitting women as an expression of love, which is really gross. He's saying shit like free Diddy. Yeah, he should rot. But even worse than that was like the type of porn that he was sharing was like, it was so bad. It was like that mainstream big production pornography. Yeah, like Brazzers and like the really fake commercial porno. He didn't post a single clip filmed vertically on like a Samsung Galaxy, which, as we all know, that's the best pornography.
Loud bedroom fan in the background on TV.
Yeah, I didn't hear a single smoke alarm beep. Like, what do you mean this guy can make the greatest music of all time, but he also will look at like a well-lit pornography set and a girl going, oh yeah, and he'd be like, yeah, that's real. That's how you know how autistic he is, because he can't pick up on how unbelievably fake and scripted all that commercial porno is. That's why OnlyFans has taken off, by the way, because it's just like filmed on a phone. Like it's shit. It's like that's what people want. People don't want to watch movies. They want to watch TikTok. You know? Like the minute you turn on a pornography and you just know there's a guy standing there like this holding a boom, it's like, I can't watch this.
Or those big camera rigs on their chest when they're doing the POV shots. Yeah. Look that up if you don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like some guy wearing a fucking GoPro like he's an IRL streamer.
Yeah.
That's no good.